Our next speaker is Nora Marino. I love Nora Marino. She and I are in the New York City Bar Association Animal Law Committee, and she is a dynamo. Nora Constance Marino has been a trial lawyer in private practice for almost 2 decades. Her practice focuses on personal injury, civil rights violations, and constitutional rights violations, and she has done substantial pro bono work on behalf of animals and those that save them. Nora is the lead attorney on a case in New York City to stop an annual religious ritual that involves the slaughter of 50,000 chickens. In the past, Nora served as a JAG officer in the United States Army Reserves and ran for New York State Senate in 2006. Now remember that. As a political unknown, she ran against a 34-year incumbent. And while Nora did not win the election, she did obtain 40% of the vote when she was only expected to get 10%. In 2011, Nora was appointed by Mayor Michael Bloomberg in New York City to sit on the board of the New York City Taxi and Limousine Commission. And Commissioner Marino's appointment was just extended for another 7 years by Mayor Bill de Blasio. In 2014, Nora founded the Animal Cruelty Exposure Fund, a not-for-profit organization that exposes animal cruelty through mainstream media. Nora Marino.
Hi, it's so nice to see that this room is so full, because it really is important that we get politically active for animals. And everybody can. Kenny has great ideas and great suggestions. I hope everyone follows what he says. Now, I have a lot of political connections in New York City, and as Odette said, I was appointed. I'm a commissioner of the New York City Tax and Limousine Commission. And a lot of people wonder, well, how do you get there? I didn't come from a family of politicians. I didn't have friends. I knew nobody. So how does one get politically active for animals? Well, you have to be in it to win it. And I like this cartoon. Coming to the park is the only chance he gets to meet other dogs. And this is what you have to do. You have to be involved in the political circles in order to get involved with political players. So how do you do that? Start by joining a political club or a community board in your district or your community. Everyone has them. It doesn't matter what party it is, Republican, Democrat, or something else. There's always a political club, and that's what I did when I knew nobody and was just coming into the political playing field as knowing nobody. Make friends there. You go to meetings, they usually have a meeting once a month. You just show up. You just talk to people, you mingle, you have coffee. They have cookies there, although they're probably not vegan, so I don't suggest that. Unless you bring your own, then you can have the cookies. If it's an election year, volunteer to work on an animal-friendly political candidate's campaign. That's a great way to make friends and connections. And these are things I did, which is what led to me being asked to run for state senate in 2006, and which led to Mayor Bloomberg appointing me as a city official. Once you get all your contacts, this is out of order, I'm sorry. Okay. You want to then you can set up meetings with your local elected officials, which is literally just picking up the phone, finding your city council member, state assembly member, state senator. You just pick up the phone and call them and say, I'd like a meeting. You have to familiarize yourself with bills that you want to either support or oppose, and that was another slide. And you can go to the League of Humane Voters, which is a great organization. I also served as chief counsel on that organization. And Peter Muller is very familiar with bills. They have chapters in every state, and it's a great way to learn about animal-friendly bills in your community. And if they can't help you, they can probably point you in the right direction to help you. Okay, now you have, suppose you get a meeting with an elected official, either a one-on-one meeting or you go to a lobby day, and that either the Humane Society has, or many other groups have, the Humane Voters has them. You go to a lobby day, or you have a one-on-one meeting. What is the #1 rule? Dress for success. This is very important. I cannot stress this enough. The second most important rule, dress professionally. And the third most important rule is dressing professionally. And I can't stress this enough. It is very important that you dress professionally for these meetings. You don't want to go to a meeting like this. You don't want to sit down in your elected official's office dressed like this and say, hi, I have a bill. You want to really look serious and you want to look professional. You don't want to come in like this. You don't want to come in like this. You do want to come in like this. And it matters. Maybe it shouldn't matter, but in a perfect world, it wouldn't matter, but we're not in a perfect world. If we were in a perfect world, we wouldn't have factory farms. So put on a suit and dress professionally. It's important. The moment a stranger sees you, his or her brain makes thousands of computations. Are you someone to approach or to avoid? Are you a friend or foe? Do you have status and authority? Are you trustworthy, competent, and competent? These computations are made at lightning speed, making major decisions about one another in the first 7 seconds of the meeting. This is by Carol Kinsey Orman, a Forbes contributing author. There are studies that prove that this is true. You will be judged within the first 5 or 7 seconds of meeting somebody. So you have a very short window to come across as a professional and someone who has something credible and meaningful to say. So this is just little tips about what are good for women to wear, what are good for men to wear. It's basically put on a suit. Don't have a lot of jewelry. A lot of it's just common sense. Putting on a tie alone doesn't cut it. Look at this guy, he's wearing a tie. You want to dress to impress. A lot of people will say, well, that's not me. That's not me to dress like that, and I'm a free spirit. You have to get over that. You have to dress for the animals. You really do. Suppose you were sick in the hospital with a rare condition and we're told that only one doctor in the world can save you. And you're really looking forward to meeting this doctor, and this guy walks in. How are you going to feel? You're going to be like, whoa, this guy's going to operate on me? I don't think so. And this can be the best surgeon in the world. You're not going to feel confident that he's going to do the right thing. If this person walks in, you're going to feel pretty good. Now, why is that? It's because of what she looks like, what she's wearing, how she presents herself. So it really does matter. You're seen before you're heard. This is why before even uttering a word, your visual image will say a multitude about you as an individual and about the organization you represent. And in our case, that organization or that party is the animals. So do it for the animals. Again, this is not who I am. Lose that. It's not about who you are. It's about making the best presentation you can. This is who I am. This was me back when I sang in a rock band. Am I going to go meet an elected official like that? No. I'm going to put on a suit and I'm going to look professional. Okay, rule number 2 is be confident. When you meet that elected official, that person is just another person, like Henny said. It's just another person just like you. There's nothing special or magical about these people. They ran for office. Trust me, anyone can do it. I can do it, and all of you can do it. They're just regular people, so be confident. Don't let that intimidate you all. Truth is on your side. When you meet your elected official or their staff member, you want to shake their hand, smile, and make eye contact. This is very important. I'm telling you this not only in my experience as a person, but as an experience as a trial lawyer. Eye contact is extremely important. People judge your credibility by whether or not you look them in the eye. When I have a witness on the stand, I always tell them when I'm questioning that witness, do not look at me when you answer, look at the jury. It's very important. When the jury sees that that witness is making eye contact, they believe them. There's studies of this as well. When you look away, it just means that you're either not telling the truth or you don't believe in what you're saying and you're not confident. So always make eye contact. Shake their hand. Look them in the eye. A firm handshake, no dead fish handshakes. Dead fish handshakes say one of 3 things. 1, I have no confidence in myself. 2, I have no confidence in my cause. Or 3, I really have no interest in you. So you don't want to send those messages. You want a nice firm handshake. And these sound like little things, but they really do matter. Rule number 3, when you meet that elected official, be prepared. You want to know your stuff and you want to be matter of fact about it. Like, look at this guy. He looks confident, he's dressed well, he has his materials in front of him. That's how you want to go when you meet your elected official. You want to tell your story, which is the animal story, which is laying your groundwork and use words as your tools. Trial lawyers paint a canvas, but their paint is with words. So be creative when you're choosing your words. Your goal is to captivate and convince. And you can do that if you're prepared with your material. And I just give this example from what I do with my business. I was in a car accident with much less impact than I was in a motor vehicle collision, because the word collision is more powerful. There's studies, again, that show that choice of words matters. My back hurts, as opposed to I have a burning, throbbing, stabbing sensation in my back. These little things matter. Now all of a sudden you're visualizing something much greater than my back hurts. You're a storyteller and words are your tools. Minimal effect. Animals, you're sitting there with that elected official. Animals are inhumanely confined. It's really bad and really mean. Not effective. So the same way I use motor vehicle collision instead of car accident, I like to use words that convey animals' ability to suffer and feel. I refer to them as emotional, intelligent beings who are capable of suffering and want to be free from pain and confinement just like we do. You have to really paint pictures with your words for these elected officials to be moved by what you're saying. Studies have shown that jurors relate to situations where they are asked to imagine if it were them. In fact, some jurisdictions, like my state, New York State, does not even allow those comparisons to be made by trial lawyers because they are so effective that they've been found to be prejudicial. So that's a pretty powerful statement. That I can't even say to a juror, imagine if it was you. I'm not allowed to even say that. But there's nothing stopping any of us with an elected official from saying it. So use comparisons, like say to that person, you know what it's like when you're in a crowded elevator and you can't move and you want to get out of that elevator in the worst way? Well, imagine spending your whole life in that elevator. So you're planting a seed in that elected official's mind where they can kind of relate to somewhat of what you're saying. These are just some examples of things I've said. Living, breathing, emotional beings are so intensely confined that they can't even turn around. And the example, you know how cramped you feel on a cross-country flight where you can't wait to land and get off of that plane. Well, imagine the flight never ends. I mean, things like that. So you're giving that person something that they can say, wow, yeah, they can almost put themselves in that animal's shoes, and it's very effective. I like to use words like unconscionable, egregious, unacceptable. You know, these practices are, you know, these are good words, they're powerful words. All right, the other thing you want to do is you want to use visuals for your audience. The same way trial lawyers use visuals to convince a jury. Trial lawyers call it demonstrative evidence, and it can really make your case. So once you've told the story and painted a picture with your words, now you want to add demonstrative evidence, and that's going to be photographic evidence. The trial lawyers have been doing this since the beginning of time. So if I'm describing a car accident, it makes a much bigger impact if I show that picture. This is what my client went through. You see it in jurors' faces. You see them light up, literally light up when they see pictures like this. So you want to bring pictures like this. You want to have copies of them. You want to show these elected officials what bill you're supporting or opposing and the impact it will have. Suppose it's a bill against gestation crates. Have pictures of animals trapped in gestation crates so they really can understand what you're talking about. You don't want to tell your story and leave your audience unimpressed, so keep that in mind. You don't want to leave your audience like this when you leave them. You don't want to leave that elected official thinking, oh, just another meeting. You want to leave them like this. You really want to reach that person and blow them away and really make them think about what you're saying. So as far as being prepared, you want to bring multiple copies of your pictures. Multiple copies because you're going to be handing them out. It might be a staff member. It might be the elected official, him or herself. You want multiple copies. Colors. Definitely get colors, 8 by 10. You can get them done at Staples or a FedEx office. It's very simple to do. If you can't afford it, get a large-scale cardboard back photo as well. Those are very powerful. We use them in trials all the time. You want to pass them out to elected officials and their staff members, and you want a fact sheet as well. You have to have the bill number that you're talking about, the name of the sponsors on that bill, and how you want the legislator to vote. And I'm telling you, it's really important that you do this because when they ask you these questions and you don't know the answer, you feel really foolish. Not that that's ever happened to me. But, so that's how I know for a fact. I learned the hard way, and I'm always prepared now when I meet legislators. I know my bill number, I know my sponsors, and I know which side I'm on. Sometimes if someone just says, here, you're going to lobby on behalf of the bill, whatever. I literally, looking back in my early days, wasn't even sure if I was for or against it. So you have to know your stuff, read your bills, familiarize yourself with your bills and your position. I found this to be effective. Before you leave the meeting, you want to make the elected officials feel like a hero, and that's really important psychologically. I've used examples such as the emancipation of the slaves, gay marriage, a woman's right to vote. You want to remind them that all throughout history there were movements that were once not taken seriously and that turned out to be on the right side of history. And I always try to relate the animal rights movement to that people can be laughing at it one day and applauding it the next, just like we've done with many other movements throughout our history. We want to empower them to believe that they have the opportunity right now to be on the right side of history. And those are really powerful words, right side of history. I've used them numerous times, and I really can feel the elected official kind of, really? I can be on the right side of history? So we want to really give them that power. And remind them that it's their moral obligation. You show them those pictures and say, it is our moral obligation to stop this. And you have the photographs there, and you can really tie it all in nice and have a really good, productive meeting. Taking it further, volunteering is really a great way to make connections, going to networking events, going to fundraisers. If there's a fundraiser for an elected official in your district and the price is too high, if it's $250 or $150, you're like, I just can't do it, call them up and offer them $50. They will take it. I ran for office, trust me, I know. They will take your money, they want your email address, it's worth the phone call. The worst that they can happen is they'll say, no, we can't do it. But 9 out of 10 times, they will take whatever you go. I can't do $150, can I pay $100, can I pay $50? Okay, just come. They have an email, they're looking at you as a potential long-term donor. So don't think just because there's a minimum price it's too high that it's out of your price range. Call, make that call. And fundraisers can be fun. You never know. You might have a good time. Attend lobby days. And this is important, not only just for animal issues, but any lobby day that you can really apply yourself to. You want to get to know your elected officials, and you want them to get to know you. So if you're a nurse, and there's a nurses lobby day, go. If you're a union member and there's a union lobby day, go. Whatever it is, just go. I walk down the halls of Albany, our state capital in New York State, and I'm like, hey, I know so many people there because I lobby for trial lawyers, I lobby for Humane Society every year, I lobby for League of Humane Voters. Whenever I can go to Albany, I go. No matter what the event is, it's something I support, I'm there. And the more time you spend there, the more you get to know people and the more they'll listen to you. I mean, a lot of what makes the world go round is personal relationships. Again, right or wrong, that's just the way it is. And lastly, you can run for office yourself. And I really want everyone in this room to think about that, because we have a lot of great minds in here and great energy, and a lot of people think that the political spectrum is out of their reach, and it isn't. It's within everybody's reach. That really is the beauty of America. I did it, I knew nobody, I built this up myself. I did get 40% of the vote when I was really expected to get nothing. I was kind of running as a sacrificial lamb, and no one really took me seriously, and it was quite an accomplishment to get 40%. And if I ran again, who knows, and who knows what the future holds. But anyone in this room can run for office. We need animal-friendly legislators from this room and from this conference in office. So anyone can do it. The only thing you really have to worry about is you have to wear a suit. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Nora. That was fantastic. So, heed her words. The more you look like the people you are trying to convince, the more convincing you'll be.